Hello and welcome. My name is Christine. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I'm going to take you on my first ever garden tour of my backyard, and I will be showing you my raised garden beds and also the productive fruit trees that I have around the yard. I live in Geelong on the Bellarine Peninsula, which is about an hour south from Melbourne, and we're in a warm temperate zone with a heat zone 4 and cold zone 10, which means that we have quite a long growing season, which is fantastic for us. And it also gets cold enough and we have enough chill days that we can grow stone fruit here too, which is a bonus because I love stone fruit. So we don't have a huge backyard. We're in a residential block and it's about 17 meters by 8 meters, and then we have some decking area where I have some pots and also some vertical stacker planters. Okay, let's go. I'll show you around. I think the first thing we might do is head down to the veggie patch and I will show you what we've got going on there. So in my veggie patch, not sure if you can see, I have two main garden beds and they're 3 meters by 1.5 each, which my husband put together for me. Now I did put an order in for 4 of these veggie boxes quite a few years ago, and I got 2 and I'm still waiting on the other 2. I think he built 2 and he said that was enough for him. So I'm still working on that, but I'll show you what I've got growing in the garden boxes at the moment. This is the first raised garden bed, and at the top of each box I've planted some nasturtiums and some beautiful snapdragons and stock and calendula. Not only do they look great, but they attract the beneficial insects into the garden as well. So what we've got at the top of the box here are some red onions, some brown onions and some white onions, and then right along the edge, I'm not sure if you can see, just down here, along the whole edge of the box here, I've got spring onions planted. So the actual large onions I planted from seedlings, and the spring onions I planted seeds. And then this is the headed lettuce that I planted. I've got this section here, which are my iceberg lettuce. I've got cos here. I've got little mini gems and also baby cos over there. So they are almost ready to harvest. They're actually pretty much ready to go. All of my raised boxes have been going for 8 weeks now. I planted them at the start of August. Then next to the lettuces, I've got leeks in, and then I've got 5 different types of beetroot that I've started from seed here. And then at the end there I've got carrots, which I think are way too close together, but what I'll do is when they're the baby carrot size, I'll start just pulling them out and thinning them and eating them like that, and then that'll allow room for some more to grow a little bit larger as the season goes on, which should work fine. Now with the beetroot, the 5 different types, I wasn't sure which type I would like, so I've planted 5 different types and we'll see what our favorites are. But they're doing really, really well. Some better than others. This section here is good. This section here, it's only, I'm not sure if you can see, it's only just started to come up now and grow. So that's taken a long time to get going, those seeds there. I can't remember what variety that was. Here's some more spring onions along the edge here. Now these ones are doing really, really well. They're a lot taller than the ones on the other side of the bed. It's because the top end of the box here gets a little less light because the sun was quite low, especially in the first weeks where this box was planted and when the seeds were planted, and the sun sat lower behind the house as it went across. Whereas now that we're well into spring, we're almost to the end of October, the sun's sitting a little higher, which is fantastic. That'll be fine though, they will catch up eventually. Now on the opposite side of the box, I planted garlic. I'll take you around, which unfortunately I did plant it very late. So here, you know, they advise that you plant garlic at the end of April. I planted rows of garlic. Here's a tiny, sad looking little tip of a garlic, but there were garlic planted all the way along here. And I think that little tip is the only surviving little garlic. But I did, as I said, I did plant only a couple of weeks ago, so it's probably a good 3 months after I was supposed to plant it. So we'll see what happens. I might get one garlic there, but I have planted in the other bed. I'll take you over to the other bed now. I have planted elephant garlic, which isn't actually garlic. It's a part of the leek family, but it looks like really large garlic, and it's got a very mild garlic flavor. But they have done really, really well. So the whole end of the bed there is all elephant garlic. So I think I'll be okay, but next year I'll make sure I do get my garlic in on time. Okay, next we have here in the second bed Brussels sprouts. Now I don't like Brussels sprouts, but hubby does, so I've planted 3 little black Brussels sprout plants for him. Next to that we have our broccoli, and then I've got a red mini cabbage there as well. So there's about 10 plants each of that. They seem to be doing really, really well. I also have some Florence fennel in here. I have 4 of those. And they're going really good too. Now we don't eat that much fennel, so I probably won't plant any more for the season, but they're doing extremely well. And I'm so excited to show you, look at this, our first snow peas for the season. So exciting. I love eating snow peas straight from the garden. They taste amazing. I'm lucky if they make it back to the kitchen. Luckily, snow peas and snap peas are super abundant. So I've got 4 mini trellises here, because these are all dwarf snow peas and snap peas. And I have about 36 snap pea and snow pea plants in there. I'm not sure if I put them too close together, but we will see. I do have a habit of planting close together and trying to squeeze everything in and maximize my garden beds. Now here along the side we have mini cauliflower. So there's 12 mini cauliflowers along here, and you can see the ones at the back look a lot stronger and taller than the ones at the front. And I think these 4, and I think that's for the same reason. They just didn't get enough sun when the sun was sitting a bit lower, but that's okay. Hopefully they'll bounce back. And next to that, these holes that are there, that was from my Chinese cabbage. But the Chinese cabbage bolted. It was the only thing that bolted in the garden. Not sure why. And so where all of these Chinese cabbages were, I have planted jade green bean seeds, or French beans, which should be delicious. Okay, moving across now, we have some grow pots. So this is sweet potato that I planted, and I was super late on planting it, and it didn't have enough time to grow. It got too cold. So I'm crossing my fingers and I'm just leaving it. I didn't dig them up, so I'm hoping that they will re-sprout again now that the weather's starting to warm up. We'll see. Crossing the fingers that happens. I have my potato pots over here. So these 4 potato pots here are Kennebec, and they're doing really, really well. So there's 4 potato plants in each pot. And then we have some Dutch cream at the back here. and then some kestrel potatoes at the front. And we love potatoes, so hopefully we get a really good harvest out of these grow bags. We did try the grow bags last year with potatoes, and we definitely harvested more than we had put in, which was great. It wasn't a huge harvest, so we'll see how we go this year. I've definitely amended the soil a little bit more than I did last time, and I'm giving it a sea salt, watering of sea salt every month. So we'll see if that makes an improvement. Next we have some rhubarb, which I love rhubarb. This is the first full year that we've got rhubarb. So it's doing pretty good. Now I do have chickens, and my lovely chickens came and annihilated this plant in particular. They love to get in there and dig out all the dirt. So this plant, and surprisingly this end plant too, but this one here has grown back really, really well. I'll show you my asparagus and what the chickens did to that. So these were full of dirt, these grow bags. My asparagus is hanging in there. However, it did get pretty badly scratched up. I think you can see one of the corns here. I haven't had time to fix it yet, but I will try and tuck them back into bed a little better. And yes, my little girls are destructive. If you've ever had chickens, you know how destructive chickens can be. So the next thing I'm going to show you on our garden tour is our fruit trees. Now I've planted fruit trees pretty much from the time we moved into this property, which was about 13 years ago. I have not been a great custodian. I think the first time we did a proper prune of these fruit trees was last year. We gave them a really, really good prune. So in spite of that, they've done pretty well. Let's go and check out what we've got growing. So this shrubby looking tree is our pomegranate. It's an heirloom variety. It's just come back for the season. Now, these are all from last year, and I just haven't had a chance to take them all off. We normally get a lot of pomegranates from this tree. However, they're normally covered in spider webs, which freaks me out. I do not like spiders. So if you have any suggestions on how to keep spiders off my pomegranates, please put it down in the comments, as I would love to know. Now I love citrus, and we are so lucky here. We can grow any citrus we want to pretty much, and they just thrive here, which I don't need to do anything at all, just plant it and it grows. So this one here is our Tahitian lime, and we just get so many limes off this, and the blossoms are absolutely gorgeous, smell beautiful, so fragrant, and the bees absolutely love it. You come out here in the morning and this is just covered in bees. It's so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to show you now our mandarin. Okay, this little guy here, this is our mandarin. It is so tiny. We had our first fruit on this mandarin last year. I actually was able to harvest about 6 mandarins, which is perfect. They were so big and so juicy and sweet. It was lovely. The bees also love this mandarin. And this year I think we're going to get even more fruit. Look at all of these little baby mandarins all over the tree. So these are some newer citrus that we've planted. This grapefruit here is probably 18 months old, and it's got some tiny little grapefruit growing there, so looking forward to being able to try that. This orange is 12 months old, and it's currently full of beautiful blossoms. This one here is a Valencia orange, and then this one at the back here is a Caracara navel orange, and it's this beautiful, beautiful pink color inside. It's not quite as dark as a blood orange, in between a blood orange and a standard orange. What my hope is by getting a navel and a Valencia is that I'll be able to prolong our orange growing season and when the navel finishes, the Valencia starts, or vice versa. I'm not sure which one comes first. If you know, let me know. This little guy here is a Santa Rosa plum. So it's 1 year old and it's growing nicely. Hopefully in another year or so we'll be able to get some flowers and fruit from that. And then next to that, I've just got this beautiful potted plum scrumptious. It's a plum cross with an apricot. If anybody's grown this, let me know, and let me know what they actually taste like and what the fruit's like. So it's got this gorgeous, gorgeous coloured leaf. Beautiful red. So down the central part of our backyard, just in front of where our raised veggie garden fenced off area is, we have some fruit trees growing down there as well. So this is our Stella cherry, which gives us so many cherries every year. They are just beautiful. Look at all those gorgeous, gorgeous blossoms, which will soon be fruit, which I can't wait for. I love cherries, and they're so expensive to buy at the supermarket. Our issue is we have to try and get them before the birds get them. Even with netting, the birds try and suck through the netting. So what we might need to do is put some posts, 4 posts around the trees, and then some conduit diagonally on each corner, and then pop the netting over the top so that the netting isn't sitting flat on the tree or the fruit, and hopefully we'll be able to harvest a little more fruit for ourselves. I don't mind sharing, however I would like some. Okay, the next thing we have here in the center is our new little lapin cherry tree. At the back of our lapin here, I have three pixie peach trees. Now I was able to pick these up at a local nursery, $10 each, because they weren't labelled, so it was a mystery. And then when spring came around, it was peaches, which is perfect. We love peaches, but we were able to get those for $10 each, and normally they're priced at $69.95 each. So that was a huge saving. So make sure you check out your local nursery, as there's always bargains to be found, especially at the end of bare root season. They tend to mark down all of their bare root plants to half price, which is fantastic. This is our beautiful almond tree, and it is just covered in almonds this year. So as I said, we did a huge prune last year, and so we did not get much, which was our first prune in 10 years. We did not get much fruit last year at all, but this year everything looks like it is covered in fruit. So very excited. Next to our almond tree, we have our beautiful fig tree. Look at those beautiful little figs growing. This one is a white Adriatic fig, and it is just beautiful. It's so sweet inside. I love the fig tree. And then on the fence here, we have 2 pears. This pear here has never fruited, and this pear here is always covered in fruit, which the cockies come and annihilate every year. So last year we managed to get 12 pears, which was pretty exciting. But oh my gosh, look at them. They just look so beautiful. I just love this time of year. Everything just looks stunning. So we also have a couple of tropical plants. We have a dwarf Cavendish banana, which does look pretty sad because we've just come through winter and it was a little bit chilly, but I think it's held up pretty well through winter. And then this one here is a blue Java, and They're actually a bluish tinge and they have a slight vanilla flavour. So I'm looking forward to being able to try this one if they survive and if they fruit down here. So anyone with banana growing tips, for those of us down here at the bottom end of Victoria, let me know. I also have Glen mango, which has also fared pretty well through winter. Now, it's only 12 months old, so it's still pretty new, and we'll see how that goes. We also have another Glen mango, which was bought 6 months before this one, and it's actually looking really good, and it's got strong new growth on it, which is great. So along our side fence here, we have some berries just in some grow bags. So this one here is a thornless blackberry. These are brand new. We just bought them about a month ago. This one here is a yellow raspberry. And then these ones here are raspberries. I have no idea what type they are though. Okay, just next to the house, we've got a little courtyard, and lining the courtyard, we have 8 columnar apples, so 4 on each side, which I think are absolutely gorgeous. Check out these. They're looking a little sad. As I said, they did get a little bit neglected, unfortunately. And this one in particular, I'm not sure what's going on with its bark and with its trunk. So if you know anything about apples, let me know if there's anything that I can do to help this poor apple tree. Or, see, not looking great. So hopefully we can do something and it hangs in there. I'll do some research, but if anybody has some tips, let me know. And then we have the 4 columnar apple trees on the other side. So as I said, 8 altogether. Now next to our apple trees, again, near the back of the house, we have this gorgeous mulberry tree. It's huge. And it is covered at the moment in little fruit. Okay, so now I'm going to show you on our back decks what we've got planted, just to try and maximize every space we have possible. There's still a long way to go before we can fill up all of our space. I've still got lots of plans, but here we go. I'll show you what we've got going on our deck. Okay, this is currently our mint bed, and I'm keeping it absolutely real here. I've got common mint along with all the weeds. There's also basil mint and peppermint in there, and lemon balm. However, I grew lemon balm to make tea and for its medicinal properties, but I'm going to say I do not like the flavour, so I think I will be taking lemon balm out. Now, it's so important when you've got mint to keep it contained, because it's a weed. It just grows everywhere. So I'm going to have to pull that out. Otherwise that is going to grow absolutely everywhere in my garden. And I do not like weeding, as you'll be able to tell. All right, next to that, we have some herbs. I have some beautiful rosemary. We love rosemary. And some sage. And this has just got so many. This is just covered in flower buds about to open. And this is our pineapple sage, which needs a really, really good trim. Next to that, we have our other deck. We've planted in front of the deck some passion fruit vines. Now we had to put this guard around the front because our dogs love to dig, and every time we planted this passion fruit, they would dig it out. I'm surprised it's still alive. So we have this passion fruit here, and we have one on the other side as well. Okay, coming around here, we have a finger lime here, which is the second year and it's doing amazing. We have a feijoa, which is pretty new as well. So looking forward to seeing what that will taste like. I've never tasted a feijoa. This is our other mango plant. So it's a glen as well, and it's 6 months older than the one that I showed you before, but it's just so full of new growth, which is fantastic. I have 2 blueberry pots on our deck here and over there. Now they are doing really well as well, and just absolutely covered in little fruit. And I was going to show you that there was one fruit ready to pick and show you what it, however, it was here this morning and a bird has come along and eaten it. So I'm going to have to net these. Now these are our 2 vertical stackers. One of them is full of common cardigan lettuce, which is this one here. So we have lots of different varieties. Now I planted the seeds in here. However, because of the position, it just was not getting enough sun. So my seedlings did get a little bit leggy, and I am going to thin them out soon, but I'm just waiting to see which ones are the strongest. So hopefully they'll bounce back now that they're getting a bit more light, and there's a bit more light available now for them to grow. And then I saved some strawberries we had growing on the fence, which I'll show you. We had them in those planter boxes there, and the birds would sit on the top of the fence and just eat them. They were all looking a bit like this and I wasn't sure whether they're going to survive. However, most of them, there's a couple that didn't survive, but most of them have bounced back, which is fantastic. So I'm hoping we will get some strawberries this year. And then at the top of this, I've just planted some spinach and kale. So the spinach has come up on the opposite sides here. The kale is just starting to pick up. This is our little herb box. So we have some freshly planted parsley that's probably about 6 weeks old. We've got some chives, some common thyme, oregano, some lemon thyme, and then some garlic chives there. So along this western side fence in our backyard, we have our stone fruit planted. So we've got firstly here our apricot tree, which it's so exciting. I can actually see little apricots growing already. So that's perfect. We love apricots. And then in the middle, we have a peach tree. And then on the end, we have a nectarine tree. Oh my goodness, I don't know if you can see all of these beautiful little fuzzy apricots everywhere. So exciting. It's only just finished its flowers with the leaves starting to come out, but it's looking really, really good. So this one here is our peach tree, and it has these gorgeous little pink blossoms. So it's pretty much done flowering now, and all the leaves are starting to grow. So hopefully we will be able to see some little fuzzy peaches starting to go on these soon too. And this here is our nectarine tree, which it's doing pretty well. However, you can see you see that? It's got a lot of curly leaves, which is caused by a fungus, and you can't do anything about that now. What I'll need to do is right at the beginning of next season, before the buds start to blossom, I'll need to treat for leaf curl. And then here are our two beautiful lemon trees. And this one here is just full at the moment. We actually have lemons 12 months of the year. This is a Maya lemon, and the skin is a lot thinner than the Eureka lemon next to it. And there's not much pith, and it's quite a lot sweeter than your standard lemon. This massive tree here is our Eureka lemon, which I do need to come and do a harvest. I will bring you along for that because we have got a lot of things to do with lemon. Because I absolutely love lemons. I love it just in some sparkling mineral water, especially in summer. When the fruit on the tree is as abundant as this, I need to turn it into some lemon curd or bake up something delicious. We have enough lemons fruiting all year round that we don't have to worry about actually saving lemons for if the tree is bare, because it never is, which is fantastic. Put down in the comments what you love doing with lemon. Give me some ideas. I'd love to hear them. Thank you so much for spending time with me today in my garden. I'm really excited to bring you along on the journey with me. The goal is to be as self-sufficient as I can be. I do prefer organic produce. However, at the moment in this season of life, I have not been able to purchase organic. So I wanted to focus on growing my own produce. I know exactly where it's come from, what's gone into it, what I've put on it, and I'm hoping eventually I will have enough to share with family and friends as well. That is definitely one of my goals, to be able to get a small acreage, take what I've learned on our little residential homestead, as I'm calling it, and replicate that but on a bigger scale. As I said, I'm just at the beginning of my journey, and I'd love to bring you all along with me. So please, if you have any tips and hints, let me know. Or even if you want, just say hi in the comments. I'd love to hear from everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me in my garden. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you putting this time aside and allowing me to share my garden with you.